Good evening, everyone, and welcome to today's strategy session. This is the Renaissance Generations Program strategy session, and it's run by the Renaissance for Excellence Initiative. So, throughout this month, we have been running a very special program directly tailored towards entrepreneurs, and we have been running the Businessman series. So, over the past 3 Fridays, we've had really specialized trainings targeted towards entrepreneurs on how to, build their business, scale their business, and really ensure that they are maximizing their business. And this special series is being run in partnership with Entraid. And Entraid is a budding tech firm that is currently designing a solution to manage the entrepreneur's business from end to end. So Entraid means the entrepreneur's aid. So it has been working towards finding a workable and a practical solution towards helping the entrepreneur manage their business. So this meeting will be one of the first meetings that Entraid will be holding in going forward in the future, and it has been amazing so far. So I really do not want to talk too much or take up much of our time because I'm really excited about today's session, and I'm sure that most of us are actually really excited. And before I hand it over to our speaker, I'm just briefly going to introduce him and read his bio so that you're familiar with some of the things that he's currently working on. So our speaker today is Anigbogu. He is a PhD student of micro and nanoscale systems engineering in Louisiana Tech University, USA. He's a graduate of electrical engineering from the Federal University of Technology, Owerri, with relevant work experiences as a field support engineer with IHS TAR. He was a graduate intern with the Federal Capital Development Authority, Abuja, and a former intern of Shell Petroleum Development Company of Nigeria. He's passionate about understanding and engaging people on the meeting point of human capital development, societal development, and history. So Winner has spent years studying how functional systems are formed and why they failed. And today, our speaker will be taking us on the topic, the law of recognition. I'm really excited about it. So I would encourage everyone to take out their notepads, their pen, whatever you take notes with, and really be attentive at this moment because it's going to be a really mind-blowing experience. So at this point, everyone, help me welcome Winner Anigbogu. Thank you so much for being with us. Over to you, sir.
Hello, thank you, French. Thanks a lot. Can you all hear me?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Thank you once again, French, for the introduction. I'm not big with introduction, so yeah, like I told her earlier, there are a couple of things I'm doing, but it's okay. So today we're talking about the law of recognition. I want it to be a conversation. So hopefully at the end of my very short presentation, we can have more of an interactive session and talk and engage each other. I prefer engagements to just dishing out things and having people take it in. So I'll start with saying this. If I'm asked to cap off what I see as the law of recognition, if I'm asked to cap it off by a single sentence, I would say this. I'll summarize it this way. Whatever a man seeks is exactly what he shall find. And being a Christian, you might permit me to lift from the Bible in the words of Christ. It says, whosoever seeketh, findeth. I have believed those statements long enough to see that they are true. You will find exactly what you are looking for. Now, many persons make the mistake of thinking that that things on earth are as a result of some random algorithms without patterns, that things just happen. It's not true. Things don't just happen. Every man plays a key role in the circumstances around his life. The businesses, the opportunities you are able to attract to yourself are not just products of some randomness. It's not true. who you are on the inside actually plays a very huge role in the kind and quality of opportunities that come around you. That's a fact. So you find that there are so many persons that seem to be opportunity magnets. There are so many persons that it looks as if once they're getting off one thing, they're entering another very productive stuffs. And some others, actually, people in the majority seem to have their lives stalled. There is nothing random about this. There is something, whenever I have a principle, whenever I find anybody doing something I don't seem to be able to achieve yet, I never explain it away. As a matter of standards, I believe that there is something this person knows. There is something about this person that either I do not know or I have not yet become, that actually gives this person or give this person access to certain possibilities that I do not yet experience. Now, if you look around the world, you will discover one funny thing. Most of the great firms that keep springing up, it's like a cycle. It looks as if the same set of persons keep recycling these things. This person hops up from this firm. And to give you a practical example, if you know this writing app, Medium, actually, the founder of Medium was actually one of the co-founders of one of the top engineers in one of these tech firms, either Google or one other tech firm. The founder of this dating app, Bumble, is actually one of the co-founders of Tinder. So she left Tinder, resigned, and in a matter of months, Bumble was up. And today, Bumble is worth billions of dollars. Now, you ask yourself, out of the billions of people in the world, why is it that it seems as if that there are a particular set of persons that have sustained the capacity to make something out of nothing? Why is it that there are some set of persons that seem to have sustained the ability to see things in what people can't see? And if you look at many of these businesses and projects that are amazing the world today, they tell you at one point, the founders often tell you at one point or another that they recognized that there was this gap in technology, or they recognized that there was this gap in service, and they decided to go in and solve the problem. The first question is, were they the only persons that passed through experiences that should have shown that gap to anyone who went through the same experience? No. So many other, whatever it is that they often say resulted in the ideas, resulted in the motivation to build whatever they built, you will find out that so many other persons went through the same experiences, but they didn't see the opportunity, the experiences availed them. So it must then be that there is certain things, or there are certain things that certain set of persons know, or there is a mindset that some persons have successfully developed that seem to give them the capacity to come up with things that other persons that had access to the same experiences don't seem to have. So I prefer approaching matters like this from the standpoint of questioning. You know, when you question things, when you question yourself, it kind of pushes you up to the next level. So ask yourself, look around the world. There seems to be a certain set of persons that are doing certain amazing and inspiring stuffs. If you know about Andela in Nigeria, Flutterwaves, the founder of Flutterwaves, the major guy that started off, of course, there were so many persons involved in the project. The major guy that started out Flutterwaves was actually, he's actually one of the co-founders of Andela. So the problem that led to the formation of Flutterwaves, did it start at the point that he started Flutterwaves? No, it didn't start at that point. It had always been there. Developers and people in Africa have always had a challenge with transferring, getting remittances from abroad to Nigeria. But you know what most people do? When they have a challenge, they circumvent the challenge and solve the challenge for themselves, and they are good. Someone else came on board and saw the same. He went through exactly the same experiences. He saw the difficulty people were facing, getting remittances and moving it around depending on the project and where the remittances were coming from. And he said, okay, you know what? I'm going to solve this problem. And surprisingly, the surprising quotation, it's one of those same persons that founded Andela. So here in the US, someone came around and said, I realized that in the dating app Tinder, the approach to picking dating mates have always been men first. Why don't I come up with an app that gives women the first hand or the leading hand in terms of picking a dating mate? Now, it was that person obviously was not the first person that came around that challenge. But why is it that there are some set of persons in the world where everybody lives that they seem to have that keen ability to see opportunities and to follow them up till they bring those opportunities to fruition, to tangible things? It must then be that there are things some persons know, or there is a mindset some persons have successfully cultivated that seems to give them that advantage in terms of recognizing opportunities and following them up. Like I said earlier, I'm not a fan of explaining things away. So if I have not been able to land certain opportunities that could change my life, if I have not been able to find myself in the company of certain persons that have the capacity to follow through opportunities, there is something that I don't yet understand. And it should be my quest to understand what I don't yet understand. And that's what I want to see if we can explore today. So I started again with this. The law of opportunity for me, recognizing opportunities, the law of recognition, whatever you want to call it, is this. Whatever you seek is what you will find. So the man on the inside is the biggest indicator of the kind of opportunities the man on the outside will be able to see. The kind of opportunities the man on the outside will be able to maximize is largely a function of whatever is going on the inside. If that was not the case, or if that is not the case, then why is it that 1,000 persons will pass through the same experience, but only one person or two persons will see that experience as an opportunity for something bigger? So, having recognized this, I would then like us to kind of explore certain things that make the difference in the lives of people, founders of businesses that are able to recognize opportunities, and others who seem not to have that capacity to. It's important you know this. Every business you see in the world is actually built on the back of humans. So the man is a reflection of the business. The business, is a reflection of the man and not the other way around. Tesla is what it is now because of Elon Musk. If it was so many other persons in the world, if most other humans in the world had the same opportunity Tesla had, if they started out Tesla wouldn't be where it is today. That is a fact. So whatever you see happening in Tesla is, first of all, primarily a reflection of the man at the helm of affairs. The quality of people he was able to attract to Tesla that have successfully built the company to what it is today is a reflection of the man at the helm of affairs. When you understand it from this perspective, you find you will be more interested in building the man, because when the man is built or fixed, businesses will be fixed. I remember a movie I saw some time ago, I think that was 4 years ago, titled The Man Who Built America. You know, that movie opened the spectrum It gave me a kind of other prisms with which to view the country America. You know, when you look at America as a great nation, if you are not careful, you will be seeing the economy. If you are not careful, you will be seeing the banking system. If you are not careful, you'll be seeing the technological systems that they have, sophisticated stuffs. But seeing those things will actually not change much about you or about your country until you kind of shrink every company you know down to a single man that woke up one morning and had a dream. A single man that woke up one morning and saw an opportunity that he was willing to invest his life in. Every single great company you know in the world today, every single great establishment, every single NGO you know, whether it's United Nations, it started with one man. Actually, when I started seeing firms, when I started seeing global NGOs from the perspective of one man, it changed the way I see the world. And it changed my understanding of recognition and opportunities. So take note of this if you want. The ability to see and recognize opportunity demands what I call an ego sight, an ego's eye. The ability to see and recognize opportunities demands an ego's eye, an ego sight. And we have to understand what that is. So you see, there's something called 2020 vision that humans possess. And an ego has 25 vision. So the implication is this. Something that is clear to us from just 5 feet is quite clear to an ego from 20 feet. So an ego can stay far away and see what humans cannot see. Something very close to them that they can see. An ego can stay far away, see that same thing and take advantage of it. But the capacity of an ego to see these things from such a far distance is actually not dependent on anything external. It's dependent on what the ego has in itself. It's a popular saying, everybody knows about the ego's eye. But what makes the ego's eye what it is not anything external. What makes the ego's eye what it is the structure developed by the ego itself. Now we can allude that, many people can shift that, oh, God made the ego this way. And that's beautiful, we know that. But let's bring it down to humans. I personally am one of those that accepts the fact that all men are created equal. So every man has an opportunity to develop himself to the point where he can see what others cannot see. And what will give you that capacity has to come from within. You know, the Christian Bible, Jesus said something interesting. He said, whosoever seeketh will find. It means that if you are able to build and sustain the ability to really look out for something that has become an obsession within you, then you will find a solution. So first of all, you will start from the inside before you were able to find anything on the outside. So when you change the man on the inside, the company on the outside would come out. When you expand the scope of the man on the inside, the company that is already existing will spread out its tentacle. It will grow from one local government to the nation. When you go ahead and expand even further the scope of the man on the inside, the company that is national today would move from being national to international. At the end of everything, it boils down to the capacity of the man on the inside. Any day, anytime, the man on the inside decides what the reality is on the outside, never the other way around. So we're talking about recognition here from 2 dimensions: personal opportunities and industrial opportunities. I want to believe that the people I have on this call don't just want to get a job. I want to believe that the people I have on this call, at one point or another in their lives, want to be part of projects, part of things that have that can cause significant changes or impact on the world. I really want to believe that, because that's the kind of people I want to interact with on this conversation. And I hope by now you are beginning to realize that how far your tentacles can spread. I hope you are beginning to realize that the quality of opportunities you can see primarily and the quality of opportunities you can maximize would first of all be dependent on the man on the inside. So if you change the man on the inside, if you expand the horizon of the man on the inside, your capacity to attract and maximize opportunities would explode. So I told you something about the eagle's eye. So you find this, that so many men pass through equal experiences, but not all men see opportunities in the same experiences. Opportunities, the ability to see opportunities, is a game of the mind. Take note of that. It's a game of the mind. The quality of mind you have will decide the quality of opportunities that you are going to find. You know, I was having a conversation with a friend, I think that was yesterday or 2 days ago. And he was telling me some recent changes in his experiences. He found out that he had a lot of problems before, some issues he was dealing with. I mean, he thought money was his problem, this project, that. He didn't have the resources to sort out these projects. But when he traveled to a particular city recently and started reading more, he started thinking more. It feels as if whatever he thinks about, at times he would just be processing a project in his head. How do I get this? I want to enter into real estate and start doing it. And the next day, somebody will send him a text, a friend will call him on WhatsApp. Oh, there is a training going on at so and so place. And immediately he gets to the training, he will realize that that was exactly what he was thinking about yesterday, how to solve, that the person attracted him to the next day. The same person, what had changed? An expansion of the mind. The more he read, the more he thought, the more he obsessed his mind with finding certain solutions, and he expanded the capacity of his mind. It seemed as if, like a magnet, those opportunities and the people he needs, the connections he needs to solve the challenges and the projects he was looking at, started gathering together. That's a fact. That has been my experience. I recall being on this platform some time ago, and I told you people this. Everything you need is around you. Believe this word. If you want to build $1 million project, if you want to build $1 billion company, everything you need is in somebody around you. Your problem is never money. Your problem is not money. The money you need is in somebody around you. If it is not in that person, somebody that you meet someday actually knows somebody that knows something that will give you the money you need. Why you've not started that project is not because you don't have that skill. It's not true. It's your inability to recognize those that have the skill and your inability to network with them that is holding back the project. It is not your lack of that skill. I've had multiple times in the past in my life where I wanted to work on projects. You know, I thought about this for a long time. I used to have in my room, I actually have I have blackboards, currently up to 4 of them, up to 4 different blackboards on the walls of my room where I write. So when I have something I'm working on, even when I don't seem to have the project capacity or whatever it is to get it done, I keep developing it. I keep developing, and on multiple occasions. In fact, I'll tell you one occasion. I won't tell you the project, but I'll cite an example. I needed to get something done with regards to a project that I'm working on. The skill I needed to get it done, I didn't have the time to explore that skill. But it didn't stop me from pushing through in terms of obsessing my mind, developing the full scope of the project in my mind, and on my wall. One day, I went online on WhatsApp and I see a friend, he posted a picture, just a random picture. And I looked at it, it was a design. And then I said, hey, do you work on this design? He said, yes. Have you worked on this kind of project before? He said, yes. That was it. Immediately, I saw that design he put on his WhatsApp status. There was a connection. It was as if my spirit said, this is the person that I told you about. And we linked up, and in 2 days, the entire problem was done, fully designed. So you see, my problem was not lack of the skill. The question is, do you know how many persons, tens of persons on the person's contacts that saw the same post he put up, but they didn't make any sense out of it? I was not the only person that saw the post. But what happened was, because an engine had been started in my heart, the engine had already been working, the magnetic field had already been set up in my heart. When that magnetic field saw another magnet that was needed to complete the engine that I had already set up in my heart, it was able to pick it up. This is exactly what you need. And we connected. So it tells you something. Opportunities abound. But for the man who has not built the capacity in his heart, the man who has not ignited the engine that is geared towards solving problems in his heart, he will never see opportunities. So the law of recognition is simple. It starts from within. Your capacity to attract, your capacity to even see and recognize these things as solutions to problems or solutions to issues will never arise until you start the engine in your heart. So remember, the problem you are having with whatever idea you are thinking of is not your lack of capacity. It's not your lack of finances. The problem is you. The things you need will always come around you, but you will never be able to recognize them until you start the engine of solving problem within you. I can actually tell you countless opportunities, countless times that I've experienced this in my life. The expansion you are looking for in your business is not far away from you. The reason why you are still in one local government is not because you don't have money. No, sir. No, ma. It's not because you don't have money. It's because you've not thought it out well. It has not even entered in your imagination the possibility of expanding from one street to the state. You've not, when I was in Nigeria, I used to have this feeling. I know a couple of stores back then that we are doing very well. You see, you have this store in one side of the street, and the businesses we are growing, doing so well. And anytime I pass these stores, I kept asking myself, if a single branch is doing well, why is it that these people have not thought about expanding this from one branch to another branch and possibly deploying these things in so many states? I didn't have a business, but I was thinking about that. It was a puzzle to me how people are comfortable with just one store that is doing well when they can as well expand to multiple stores, when they can as well build a chain of stores. And one day I was having a conversation with someone who owns a store, and he was telling me all sorts of reasons. Oh, the issue of managing, what if they steal from me? I don't have the money. And it was sad because every single excuse he gave me, there are things out there that I actually know that would solve his problem. On one occasion, I told him technology has so developed that even if you have a chain of 50 stores, if you put the right technologies there, you can properly manage all those stores while sleeping. Ask yourself, how come people own Walmart and Walmart is in different parts of the world? The next challenge he brought in, oh, I don't have the finances to expand it. No, that is not your problem. If your vision grows beyond this one store and you actually start seeing the whole of Nigeria, and you actually develop a project plan that shows the capacity, because you're already doing well where you are. A business plan that shows the capacity to maximize profits, you will find partners that will partner with you and expand it. But the problem is that the man on the inside is not yet large. And so long as the man on the inside is not large, you can't go far. You will not see opportunities. Do you know how many persons that have come within those stores and gone? Maybe they came to buy one thing or another, who actually have the financial might to help them with expansion. But because the owner of the store has not thought about expansion, the quality of conversation he could have with those people would be different. A man looking for a solution to a well thought out problem will not have the same kind of conversation with a man that is looking for no solution. So it also shifts to this. When the man on the inside changes, the quality of his conversation changes. Are you aware that most of the biggest opportunities that will ever come to your life, that you will harness them through conversations with people? I don't know if you're aware of that. Do you know that there are some time ago, one of the conversations I had with someone that changed my life, both financially this year, was a friend we've been playing soccer for a long time. Then one day I was dropping him off in his house and we started a conversation. And this young man told me something that baffled me. And he taught me something. After he told me about it, I followed him up. He taught me something that, man, it's one of the biggest discoveries that I made this year. Then I asked him one question. I said, have you ever discussed this with any other person that we play soccer with? He said, no. And mind you, we've been playing soccer together for months. I said, wow. So you see how this person has been playing soccer with everybody, but not any other person in that our group of soccer players have been able to see the same opportunities that literally comes to the field to play soccer with them. I was able to see that because I sustained that capacity to engage in fruitful conversation. And the kind of conversation you are able to entertain is still dependent on your person. If all you know about is Cristiano Ronaldo and Lionel Messi, that will be the end of your conversation. But if your mind is large, that you have the capacity to entertain, all kinds of conversations, it will change your life entirely. I went to a wedding in August, and there was a man sitting right in front of me in the wedding. I didn't know that he's a top professor in University of Kentucky, right? One of the chairs of one of their biggest programs from Ghana. We got into a conversation and started talking about automation. We had the conversation for I think 45 minutes, around that range. And it happened that he worked for General Electric, worked for, I think, Siemens or something before he became a professor. The man was so amazed that at the end of the conversation, he gave me his card and told me to please keep in touch with him. Now, as at that time we had that conversation, I didn't know I will ever have any need for the man. But recently, as I started working on something and I realized that I might need somebody on the board who has access in Ghana, I remembered the man. How did that happen? The connection was created through a value-ended conversation. So you see how businesses and opportunities that a man can attract is primarily dependent on who the man is. Mind you, I wasn't the only person that attended that wedding. I wasn't the only person that shook hands with him. I wasn't the only person that had conversations with him. It's possible that other people that attended the wedding, they only spoke about how beautiful the dance was. It's possible that they only spoke about how nice the food was. So you are the man you have on the inside of you is primarily the most decisive factor in your ability to recognize opportunities for growth, in your ability to recognize opportunities for seeing new fields or new areas that have not yet been explored. The man on the inside. If the man on the inside is small, his ability to recognize opportunities will actually be small. If the man on the inside is small, his ability to sustain value-ended conversations that could evolve into opportunities would be small. What a man seeks is what he finds. Opportunities are flying by every day, but only the people that have started the engine needed to solve problem on the inside will be able to attract magnet. It's like a magnet. See opportunities like ions, metals passing by. If the magnet is not on the inside, it will never be able to pull those metals towards you. Lastly, the ability to recognize and maximize opportunities demands a willingness to face challenges. I would like to say this. Most of the biggest opportunities you will ever find in your life will often come masked as services. They will not come as gold. They will be masked as opportunities to serve. They will be masked as opportunities to solve problems. They will not come in form of millions of dollars. They will not come in form of billions of dollars. You see, most opportunities you will find, it might be admission that you are looking for. It might come in form of service, maybe a volunteering program. And other young persons will say, oh, they're not going to pay me, I'm not doing this. But the man who has built the ability to serve will go into that volunteering opportunity. And while doing that volunteering opportunity, he will find a participant in the conference that he would engage in. He would engage in a conversation. And that participant in that conversation will link that person up to a postgraduate opportunity or scholarship outside Nigeria. Most of the biggest opportunities you will ever find in your life will come masked as problems. Every company you know today did not start as a billion-dollar company. Every company you know today started as simply an opportunity to solve the problems of people. And solving problem is one thing most men run away from, except when you have to pay them salary. Except salary basically means you're under an obligation. You are working for me, I'm paying you 100,000 naira every day. I'm paying you $100,000 every day. So you have to do this. That is the only time you get many men to work. That is the only time you get people to solve problems. The people who are good at maximizing opportunities are the people who enjoy solving problems, even when there is no immediate pay for the problems they are solving. Go and check how most companies you know started. Simply a bunch of two kids or teenagers or 20-something-year-old people that went out on a coffee date or something and realized that, oh, that people are struggling with doing this or that. Now, they are not the first persons that found out that those struggles exist. And they said, okay, why don't we make this thing easier for people? Why don't we take it upon ourselves to solve this problem for others? The people who think about others have the capacity to recognize and maximize opportunities more than most men. There is this graphics design company. It's not Adobe. Trying to recall the name of this graphics design company. It's based in Australia. It's currently worth some billions of dollars. I'll find out the name and I'll send it across to you people. If you know how they started, it was a single lady. She found out that she was having a hard time handling, doing designs with Microsoft tools. And the class she was teaching, They were having challenges with doing the same design. So what happened was, because it was difficult, very difficult to navigate, people, individuals and tools would outsource. They will have to pay others who are specialists in those things to do those simple designs for them. And she asked herself, primarily for her students, it's actually started as a way to solve problems for her students. Why don't I create a better design platform that can help my students carry out their projects without having to pay? A simplified approach to design that just about anybody that is not a specialist can do. She started out with designing a platform that could do what that of Microsoft could do, but it was less complicated. It worked. As I'm speaking to you today, the company is worth billions of dollars. Mind you, it didn't come as a billion-dollar business. No, sir. No, ma. It simply came as an opportunity. It simply came as a problem that needed to be solved. So look back at your life. How many times have you seen problems and you skipped and passed? How many times have you tried to send a text message or do something online and you realize how difficult it is to do that very that's very simple stuff? And you know what you did? You called a friend and asked a friend if there was a way around it. Please, can you help me? Say, do you know any way that I could do this thing? And your friend said, okay, I can help you do this, that. And you said, okay, thank you. And once you are done, that's it. You are amongst the masses. And that's the reason why the masses will remain where they are. They're only thinking about themselves. If I can find a way around this problem, I'm good. Someone else will come out someday and look at that same problem and tell himself, I'm not just comfortable with solving it for myself. I want to make it easier for others. That is how my friend, my personal friend, 24-year-old boy, is currently building a $1 billion project. They have raised over $1 million for payday. Most of you might have seen it all over social media and probably in newspapers. The Nigerian 24-year-old Nigerian that is building an African cash app. As I'm speaking to you, they have expanded it to a point where with their virtual card, if you're from any country in Africa, you can virtually put your Naira under the platform, use their virtual card in any part of the world and buy or pay for whatever you need. The issue of PayPal and all that, it has been solved. But do you know how long that issue has persisted? Payday has not lasted for up to 6 months. They have raised over $1 million. He started like a joke. I remember talking with him on the phone when they were building Payday. Today, he's all over the world. He's all over social media. With his team, they are doing an awesome job. But he started with a decision. In fact, he turned down an opportunity. He was working remotely for an Australian firm. He turned down an opportunity to travel to Australia on a full-time basis and actually gain with an automatic permanent residency on Entraid. He turned it down. He turned down 2 job opportunities with Facebook because he wanted to solve problems. So the question you need to leave here asking yourself is this: how many times have I faced problems and I simply skipped? You know, I remember as a little child, maybe my dad played a huge role in my development of, he did, in my mindset. Back in the days when I was a young boy, I would be walking on the road and see a nail. If I see a nail on the road, I'll just keep jump the nail and keep moving. I noticed something, and anytime I was walking with my dad and he found a nail, my dad wouldn't just keep. He would pick up that nail and find a dustbin. He would take that extra time and find a dustbin to put the nail inside. I kept wondering why. Just keep this thing and let's keep moving. But having grown up, I've come to realize that it was a sample that God was showing me. Until you start learning how to solve the problems of others, you will never be able to see those opportunities that are masked as problems and services. The biggest opportunities that will come around your life, they won't come with signs that they are opportunities. They will come as problems and as services to be rendered. So can I ask you, in your region, wherever you find yourself today, probably in Nigeria, people are struggling with finding good JAM teachers. Why don't you create a platform through which they can teach them online? People can teach them online. Oh, you are going to tell me you don't have the skills. It's not true. There are people that you know that have the skills. But because you've not started the engine within you to solve the problem, you pass them every day, and you've not been able to strike any useful partnership with them. That's the problem. And lastly, I will say this. You can learn this about an ego. It is said of an ego that it has what is called nitrating membrane, that it goes across the eyes of an ego every 3 to 4 seconds and cleans the eyes of an ego in order to maintain that sharp viewpoint, that sharp focus of an ego, that capacity of an ego. So it has this kind of membrane or fluid that every 3 to 4 seconds, it goes through the eyes of the ego all around and cleans it up, removes dirt. It kind of refreshes the eye to maintain the sharpness. You see, whatever is not maintained would become rusty. So that is to say, one of the means through which you can maintain the capacity to recognize opportunities is through association. You see, your associations rub off on you. Your associations rub off on you. The kind of conversations you hold with your associations. One of the things I'm doing now, the project I'm working on with a team, it came off from a conversation with a friend. I was having a conversation with a friend, and he was telling me some of the challenges they were having, and we had a sustained conversation for a while. And then we were like, okay, we can actually develop a solution to this problem. I found out that as I surround myself with people, as I'm speaking to you, I have how many friends? Maybe 4 or 5 friends that are building companies quietly. In different sectors, pharmaceuticals, fintechs, and they are all my close friends. A company of the wise maketh wise. The kind of conversations you host or entertain in your life, it will either sharpen your antenna and give you that capacity to recognize opportunities, or it will make you more rusty. The little or the much I've learned about financial world, about so many things around finances, came from conversations. I heard and saw things that I didn't even know exist. But it started with conversations with people. So I want to ask you, what kind of conversations do you engage in every day? The conversations you entertain in your life, do they wash off the rustiness in your antenna? Or do they make you more rusty? It's like the ego that has a nictating membrane that cleans off the eyes every 3 to 4 seconds so that it can see clearly. It can see clearly. When you start associating with people that are solving problems. In fact, most of my close friends, when we discuss, most of our discussions are about problems that we are solving. Either the problems they are solving and we're talking about it, some issues they're facing, and it's normally and also. If it's not a problem, a tech-based problem, it will be a social problem. It'll be about one nation or another, the issues with their economy. These are things that sharpen your sight. These are things that sharpen your intellect. And the sharper you are, the higher your prospect of recognizing opportunities. So the law of opportunities again is this: whatsoever a man seeks, S-E-E-K, whatsoever a man seeks is exactly what he will find. So the atmosphere you've created on the inside will decide the possibility of recognizing opportunities and the possibility of maximizing those opportunities. So never joke with the place of continuous development. Read. I keep insisting, read. If you've never read anything about IT, maybe you are studying linguistics or you are studying biology, and if you've never read anything about IT, you will never be able to recognize opportunities in ITs. It's a fact. They will come and pass, but you will not recognize them. Not because you're a bad person, but because you've not been able to build the atmosphere on the inside, like a magnet that can attract an IT-based opportunity. But when you start, you don't need to be an IT professional. Expand your horizon, read. It's the quality of your mind actually creates it influences your prospects of recognizing good and diverse opportunities. To the man who knows next to nothing and is not interested in the medical world, opportunities in the medical world will pass, but he won't see it. So the broader your horizon, the higher your prospect and your capacity to recognize opportunities and to maximize them. Remember, eagles fly with their own kind. Yes. Eagles fly above the storm. You can research on what I'm about to say now. Of all, no other bird flies above the storm. Every other bird, once the storm comes, they go into hiding to cover. The eagle is the only bird that flies towards the storm and actually rises above the storm. The eagle flies over 2,000 feet up. It can actually rise above the storm where water is coming from. Where other birds, once it starts raining, they are running to find cover. That tells you something about the character of an eagle. When others face problems, they are looking for personal solution. Can I run into a house? Can I just get my own solved and leave? When eagles see problems, they face the problem and they rise above the problems. If you want to become a master in attracting opportunities, in maximizing opportunities, you need to adopt the character of an eagle. And lastly, let me tell you this. Most of the biggest opportunities you will ever find in your life will come in form of human beings you meet. Yes. Most of the biggest opportunities you find will come in form of human beings you will meet. With that being said, I want to thank you all for being around. Thank you so much for listening, and God bless you all.
Thank you so much, sir, for sharing that. It has been amazing. And I just want to re-echo before I open it up for questions or comments. One very key thing that you said that really struck me, said that the quality of opportunities we see and maximize is based on the man on the inside, the quality of the man on the inside. I thought that was a really striking statement. So thank you, sir. So at this point, we're going to open it up for questions, comments. So if you have anything that you want to ask, Sarina, this is the time to ask. Or if you have any comments, something that you thought was important from everything that he has shared, this will be the time to actually share it. You can use the chat feature. I can read it out, or you can just unmute yourself and speak. Any comments? Questions? I didn't see anybody typing. Okay. So in the absence, oh, I'm just gonna give 1 more minute in case somebody's still trying to, gather their thoughts together. So questions, comments. Okay. So in the absence of any questions or comment, I'm just going to really just say some of the key things that I think should be our key takeaways from this meeting. And I think one of the things that, Zawina kept reiterating is the fact that you need to develop the man on the inside, because the things you would see, the opportunities that will come your way, you're only able to recognize that based on development or based on the investment that you have made on the man on the inside. And I think that is one of the key things that you need to take away from this meeting. I know from our previous meetings, as we always emphasize, you need to read, read wide, develop yourself, gain knowledge, gather knowledge, get good information that will really help to broaden your horizon so that you can begin to identify problems and really see those problems when they come your way. And then the second thing he said was that you should be willing to face challenges. So there are problems everywhere, there are issues everywhere, but your ability to be able to solve those problems, to provide solutions to those problems, sometimes are really going to set you out from the rest of the world. And then the third thing he said that was key to me is that association is important. Association is important. It says that the ego only flies with other egos. So the people you associate with, the people that you speak with, the conversations that you have is really important if you're going to do something significant, if you're going to make that impact that you want to make going forward. So those are some of the key things that I learned. You can feel free and drop some of the things you learned on the chat box, and then we can read it out. But it has been really amazing today, and have learned so much. It's been a great time, and I want to say thank you so much to Zawina. Thank you for coming here. Thank you for coming and just really sharing so much value with us. And then Praise says that I got so much value, still digesting it. Or trust me, I'm about to rewatch this thing after it finishes. And just to put it out there, the videos is going to be uploaded to YouTube. So if you really need to rewatch it, to really just hear again the things that were said today, I think it's really important that you do so. So once again, thank you so much, Samina. Thank you so much for coming on and really sharing these amazing thoughts with us. And before we go, okay, I think Samina wants to say something. Go ahead.
No, I'm not saying it. I'm just trying to say
Oh,
a
I
word.
put your mic on mute, so I don't know if you wanted to say something. That's fine. Okay, so today was actually okay. Somebody has a thought, so I'm going to read that. So Brainstorm says that a thought came to my mind just now. I don't know, but could books be recommended at least for a month or less, in line with all that we have learned this month? Thank you so much, Brainstorm. That is a great idea, and I think that is something that we can work towards, doing and following the next month. So we'll look towards doing that and actually really do that. So just look out for that. Thank you so much for bringing up that
Can
suggestion.
I recognize a book? Can I
Yes,
recommend a
yes,
book? Who
yes.
asked the question again? Sorry. What's the name of the person that asked the question?
Oh, Brainstorm was on who to ask about the books. Yes.
Okay, brainstorm. If you will get just one book that I'll recommend for you to be wonderful, get this book as the future catches up on you. As the future catches up on you, by someone, Enric. I'm trying to remember the name, but I can actually send the book so they would drop it off on the Instagram page. But get the
Okay.
book. You can Google it, As the Future catches up on you. It's an amazing book. If you do read the book, you won't be the same at the end of the day. It's a promise. Your life will change. Your perspective on life will be totally revolutionized as the future catches up on you. Get the book, read it, and thank me later.
Okay, I'm actually typing it in the chat, so I hope I spelled his last name correctly, but I think yeah. I would confirm and also send a link to the book. Yes, as a future practice, yes, that is what I think. Thanks so much, sir, for that suggestion. So, any other question, comments? Okay, so in the absence of questions, so just quick announcement. So we're giving you updates on the chat on our social media platform about how our next strategy session is going to be like. So look forward to that. And also the videos for all the sessions are going to be on YouTube. So feel free to go rewatch it. Tell someone to rewatch it, because trust me, a lot of important and valuable knowledge has been shared in the course of the past 4 Fridays in this month. So please rewatch it. When you get the link, please share, like, comment, just really engage with the post. Thank you so much as you do that. So at this point, I'm going to say, if there are no guys comments, so a lot of thank yous in the chat to our speaker. Thank you so much. So in the absence of any questions, comments, we're going to call it an evening, a day, depending on the time zone that you are in. So thank you all so much for taking our time to be a part of this event. Thank you so much, and God bless you all. Have a great night or a great day.